Hello, we're going to do meta programs now. So it's been quite a journey for you, I expect, so far. There's a load of stuff to take in and a lot of stuff to reflect on and a lot of actions that you want to take. So just have a quick little run back. So what we've done so far is find out what NLP is. We've watched your cauliflower video of how you get results, and you know what your unconscious mind is working to. You've also found support, so you're journaling and you're using your A people. And you know what your purpose is, what your identity is, or you're working on it. You know what your values are, and you're making sure that your business ticks those boxes. And you know what your beliefs are, and you're turning your limiting beliefs into empowering ones as we speak, I suspect. So, meta programs, what are they? They're a really unconscious filter. So they're probably the most unconscious filter that we've got. And it's about how we work internally. And there's at least 18, if not more of them. I'm going to just tell you about 3 today. And the reason for knowing about them is that sometimes when you're working with people, when you're talking to your husband, when you're talking to your wife, your partner, your parents, your family, you feel on a different page and you don't know why, and it's usually because of meta programs. So I want you to score yourself on a scale of 0 to 10. Your unhealthy symptoms are: I didn't know I had a filtering system. I know that my way of doing things is right. Other people irritate me. It's everyone else's fault. And your healthy symptoms would be: I'm aware that everyone has a different model of the world. I understand myself and how I filter and create my own reality. And I can recognise other people's programming and adapt my behaviour to be flexible and get excellent results. So score yourself on a 0 to 10 there, write it in your workbook, and I'll tell you how we can learn more about your meta programs now. As I said, I'm going to talk about 3 of them. So the 3 are whether you're a towards or an away from person, whether you're a big picture or a detail person, and also what your frame of reference is. And I'll explain all of those and put some slides up as I go through. So it's really important to understand whether you are moving towards what you want or you're moving away from what you don't want, and also for other people. Because if you know that someone moves towards something, say, you can say to them, well, you know, if we do this project, we'll be really successful, and everyone will be happy, and we'll make more money and have more time off. Whereas if people move away from something, that means they're motivated by having, you know, they don't want to have a poor work-life balance, they don't want to be not successful. And if you know that, then you can say, well, you know, if we don't do this, then we're not going to have a work-life balance, we're not going to be successful. And, you know, so it's just a way of motivating people by knowing whether their motivation is towards or away from. So the question to ask for this is, I want you to take your top value, and so say like mine's determination. So I'd ask myself, why is determination important to me? And this is what you can ask yourself or other people. And I might say, well, I want to be really successful, I want to be earning X amount of money, I want to be travelling, and I want to just feel fulfilled and happy. And that's a towards motivation. Or I might say, well, if I haven't got any determination, I just sit around procrastinating, and that would be an away from motivation. So ask yourself that question: why is one of your values important to you? And just listen to your answer. I think mine is sort of somewhere in the middle between towards and away from. It's really nice if you can get towards motivation values. So practice that with an A person. Ask people around you So, you know, they might be doing something, they might be talking about getting home, and you could say, well, why is that important to you? And they'll say, oh, well, because my family's the most important thing to me, or if I don't, I'll get shouted at. Just interesting. So that's the first one. Big picture detail. It's very, very interesting. I'm a big picture person, and I find it really difficult to work with people who are very detailed. So doing these videos and planning, it's been quite uncomfortable for me, although I do know I need to do the detail as well. And some people will do detail only. So you might, if you're a big picture person and you work with people that only do detail, then you'll feel like you're on a different page, and it's worth knowing that. So the question is, if we were doing a project together, would you want to know the big picture, in other words, where they're going first, or would you want to know the detail? And you write that down. And then you say, would you really need to know the opposite? So, for instance, I'm big picture. Would I really need to know the detail? Well, at some stage, but not necessarily straight away. So if I was going on holiday, for instance, I know I'm going, for instance, I went to Sri Lanka recently. I know I'm going there, but it's only about 3 days before that I actually need to know what the temperature is going to be, which airport I'm going from, who's actually going to take me. So luckily, I live with a detail person that's already sorted that out for me. But it's worth knowing that about yourself. You might find there are quite a few people, so like people who maybe do web design or IT, they just want to know the detail. So give me a project and, right, well, I'll just sort this out and that out, and we might get there, but they don't really know quite where there is. Now, I don't know which you are, but ask yourself the question, if we were doing a project together, would you want to know the big picture or the detail? So, third one is what I call frame of reference metaprograms. So this is about how do you know you're doing a good job? What frame do you put around doing a good job? So if you ask people, how do you know when you're doing a good job? Do you just know internally, or do you need someone else to tell you? And they'll tell you that. So for myself, I know I'm doing a pretty good job, and I probably know that internally, but it's always very nice if someone else tells you that as well. But you'll also work with people that don't know they've done a good job, and they'll need to be told that they're doing a good job. If you've got someone that's totally internally referenced and they know that they're doing a good job themselves, they might get a bit irritated if you keep telling them, because they just know anyway. But then you'll have other people that need to be told. So again, how do you know you're doing a good job is the question. So what do you think about all those? It's really interesting, isn't it? And there's so much more than those. It's almost another course on its own. So have a little look at Steve reflecting on all these meta programs, and again, big realizations for him, and he'll be taking some different actions in the future and interacting with people in a different way maybe. So have a look at that, and I'll come back to you on the other side after that.